UDC.
So our next presentation is preparing for ArcGIS utility network at Dominion Energy Virginia. I'd like to introduce Jenny Burgess and Will Farmer, also Scott Warner and Dax Wolfinger. I say that right, it is? Okay, good. So Jenny is the manager of GIS services at Dominion Energy. Will Farmer, who is also from Dominion Energy, is also from Dominion, and he supports the electric transmission and distribution initiatives and oversees projects around the utility network. Next, we have Scott Warner, who is a senior project and account manager at UDC. And last but not least, Dax Wolfinger, who is a solution engineer, and he is also from UDC.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. No, I am the last stop before the social, so I'll try to make it as quick as possible. Thank you, Mike. Again, my name is Scott Warner. I'm the account manager for Dominion Energy and also several accounts over on the East Coast and Midwest. So I'm very pleased to be up here with Dominion. So we started this project probably about 8 or 9 months ago. And just wrapped this up probably about 3 or 4 months into this assessment, so which we thought was a very important project to both Dominion and to us. So we'll talk about Dominion a little bit and who they are, and also what were the business drivers to look at why they did a data assessment. I think that's pretty important why they did this. So the implementation approach for that, and then also, I think Scott said, the partnership with Esri and them supporting us, both UDC and Dominion Energy. So we think that was very important. So. And then also look at the UN planning considerations, looking at the integrations, applications, and also, of course, the data. So, and then finally look at the assessment results that came out of that assessment and what we delivered to them. So, okay, with that, I'll turn this over to Jim.
Hello, everyone. To just reiterate one of the things that Scott said, so unlike the other Scott do, we are currently on the Esri geometric network and are moving to the utility network. So we just wanted to share some things about our data assessment and the value we thought it had. So this is just a little bit about us. So the issue. So for any of you here that are utility folks, you know what it's like to be facing a utility network transition, not knowing what it's going to look like with your data, not knowing what to expect, not having any idea your data is going to look different, what kind of migration issues you might have, and then without knowing all of those things, how do you make a plan? How do you know how to budget for it? How many years will it take? You have no idea. And then you have all of the enhancements associated with SCADA, ADMS support, the fact that making this transition is something that everybody that's on the geometric network is eventually going to do. So we needed to do something. So we put together a project. In scope was for us to evaluate our data and the readiness and what would it take to get it there. To leverage our migration automation to figure out how to take anything that needed to be changed or reconfigured and do that. And for us to build a pilot environment, because that's the part about just knowing what your data is going to look like. We accomplished those things. And the benefits have been hands-on experience with our data in utility network in Pro. We've got clear data remediation plans. We know what our data looks like. We know what we need to work on. And we know a lot of things for long-term planning. I felt much more comfortable going into an RFP for our implementation having this information. So, what do we do in a little more detail? First is that we work together. By the way, these guys are here in case I need anything. We got scared. So the first thing was for us to spend some time in the GM. How is our model set up? What is in it? So that UDC can work on figuring how to convert it. Then they configured our UN model. So all of our data was run through the data assessment, and we configured a subset so that we could work with it. So then we figured out, okay, so here are all of our data issues, you know, what is kind of our plan to work through them. We had they introduced our pilot environment to us. So the data was there, they showed us how to use it, they did some use cases, walked through a few of our workflows, did some training with us on it, and then it became kind of a workshop, and there was a deliverable there at the end regarding some of our workflows and those things as well. Through the course of it, we worked quite a bit with Esri. There were some model changes based on our requirements. So an example I'll give is that at the time, a year ago, or whatever it was, there was a way to model single-phase primary. There was a way to model three-phase primary, but modeling two-phase primary as one conductor wasn't a thing. And so UDC worked with Esri on that, and they remedied that for us, and we had conversations with them too, so we were kind of on the same page, just working through any things that we had questions about or we thought we needed to adjust together. And so this is just a high level of our results, because this was one of the things that we were fearful about. They looked at about 80 million features and attributes in the data assessment. And they came back and they presented it to us with about 2 million things that were not compatible with UN. That was a little scary. But we started looking at them, and we found an example where when we put a fuse off of a primary, we used a 15-foot wire to attach the fuse to so it looks nice and pretty. And with an adjustment of a tolerance for that 15 foot, we got down to 1 million. So then with that 1 million left, one of the things was streetlights. Streetlights are not part of our connected model because we don't know what they're connected to. So we determined that in the utility network, they would still not be a part of our connected model. So we got down to 500,000 without doing much of anything. So we've been working through those things. The 500,000 we expect to have it done by the end of the year. We had some interns work through some of the things that needed to be done manually. We're working through some of the things that we can remedy through automation. We don't want to bombard our systems with too many edits on an evening, so we are working on spreading those out. But that's where we ended up, and we hope to, by December or January, to have them all corrected. So, based on a lot of the things that we learned, we increased our own staff internally. We've added 6 people this year, 1 person last year, 2 in the coming year, which is a lot. It's a small group. UDC's been helping us with some day-to-day posting to help free up our team for some utility network related things, which I'll get to in a moment. We'll ramp up the support that they're providing us with day-to-day posting when we get more fully into utility network. And of course they did the data assessment and pilot environments and put that there. So with all of that support from them, we're able to focus on our software projects, because utility network isn't the only one. GIS is a major integrator with a great many things. We're working through some other projects, and folks can be committed to being on those project teams because of that. And then, of course, our team can have some of their time freed up to work on going through the Esri training on UN, which they've done, or maybe most of them have done, learning the utility network in our sandbox, learning the other new systems, preparing and reconciling our data, and just overall kind of getting ready to do this and hopefully do it right, because doing a huge software change like that is never as easy as you'd like it to be. So I think part of the reason that we wanted to come and talk to you today was really just to say that we recommend a preliminary data assessment and setting up a sandbox to help you know what you're getting yourself into. Thanks for being here.
UDC